Hi guys, let's learn a little bit about creating landscapes. So our objectives are understand ways to create atmospheric perspective and the illusion of space, and then develop and refine skill in creating different values and line qualities to create believable space, forms, and distance in landscape. So a lot of what we're going to be learning today is going to be vocabulary, very important vocabulary. So our first word worth knowing is atmospheric perspective. So atmospheric perspective is creating the illusion of depth into space by using color and or value to simulate changes created by the atmosphere on the colors of things seen at a distance. So the foreground, which is what is in front, is higher contrast and more intense, think more saturated chroma, and fades and lightens in value as you move back into the background. So whatever's in front is going to have the most contrast, be the darkest, most intense, and as you go off into the distance, it's going to start to lighten in value and fade. So near, more contrast, far, lighter contrast. So here is a really good just photo example. So when you're looking at any type of landscape photo, or even if you're outside, maybe you go to Colorado or somewhere there's a bunch of mountains, you can see the mountain or whatever's in your foreground is going to be very saturated, more intense. The middle ground is going to start to fade a little bit, but then as you get really far in the back, it's almost going to look blue, and that's from the atmosphere. So it's going to fade out as you get to the back. Second is overlap. So overlap is the placement of one object in front of another in order to create the illusion of depth. So you have your object in the front, you're going to put another one behind it, you're going to put another one behind it. So by creating that type of overlap, you're going to create this illusion of depth because something is in front of something else. Last is relative size. So the size of one object or part of the landscape in relation to another. So for example, a tree, a bush, something in the foreground is going to be painted much larger than a tree in the background. So if you're looking at my camera, my hand, since it is in front of my face, is a lot larger than my face, even though in reality it's not. So it's an illusion. So you have whatever you have in the front, your tree, your bush, your house. Then as you go further in the distance, even if it is the same size, it is going to get, or the same object is going to get smaller as you go off into the distance. So a mistake people will make is making things the same size all over the page, and then it doesn't read as depth at all. This is also known as scale or proportion, which I know we've talked about a little bit in class before. So all of these things work together to create an accurate landscape. And again, foreground, middle ground, background. Foreground, middle ground, background. You have to be able to recognize these things. Quickly, let's look at a really super famous painting. It's by Peter Bruegel the Elder. It is The Census at Bethlehem. It's from 1566. It's a super important painting in the history of art. And if you're looking at this, there is a huge sense of all those vocab words we just talked about. Foreground, middle ground, background, relative size, and overlap. So as we're looking at this painting, you can see in the front we have our subject. We have our people, and they are larger. That tree is larger. And then as we go off into the distance, even on the side, so they're smaller, so that's reading as if they are further in the distance. But as we go further in the distance, the people start to get super, super small, and then our colors start to fade. So once we get over here, the colors get a little bit more muted than they are in the front, and we have tons of overlap here. So we have these houses overlapping on the ice. We have these little houses just on top of each other as they're drawn in the distance. So this just creates a really beautiful sense of distance. So for your practice, what you're going to do is you're going to create your own monochromatic landscape that shows atmospheric perspective, it should show relative size, and it should show overlap. So I'm going to have you create some practice work before we move on to the next project. Good job, guys.